Quentin Tarantino. Humans find violence deeply satisfying, but remove the satisfaction and the act becomes hollow. Who's right? One question we've all probably subconsciously asked ourselves is, what are the barriers of film? How far is enough? How much is overdrive? Not a simple question, and definitely not a straightforward response. There's factors to be considered. What time period are we talking about for starters? At the start, there were no limits, but gun violence in films has doubled since the 1950s. Now more than ever, there's many ways to show the word macabre on screen, alongside the increasing amount of films getting produced each year. There's three sections I think of when categorizing violence in films. The first is physical. This counts as any scene of two characters hitting each other. Fight scenes of any type that use hand-to-hand are in here. Next is your gore fits onto all this. Human body parts, bullets to the body, swords severing hand, all that stuff goes into graphic violence. Lastly, sexual. Stalking, essay, and non-consensual touching and all that stuff goes in here. Thinking about all the films I've seen, I wonder about how many of these forms of violence are justified in them. What is the film trying to say by showing us this? Movies affect our way of thinking. They're used to show our world in different lighting. Some films glorify their ideals. The Imitation Game is a good example. It's a great film that doesn't focus on the hardship of war. Does that make it bad? No, it's just showing one side of the war. Violence can help our story move forward, sometimes creating unpredictability, like in The Usual Suspect. Characters dying raises the film to a new suspenseful level. Not in every case though is violence used to make the film more fun for the audience. In The Wind That Shakes the Barley, a character's fingernails get pulled off. It's not an easy watch, but some might say it makes the film feel more realistic. It's not every time though that it's used in a heavy manner. In films like Night and Day or Game Night, it can be used in a more satirical or funny way. Some people might enjoy it being less serious. We use cinema as a way to escape into other worlds, right? All films use the mechanics of violence in different ways. Animation can use it for comedy, murder mysteries use it to reveal a plot twist, actions stimulate the audience with it, but none of them are confined to do certain things with it. Horror sometimes uses it for more scares than violence, and the same way around. There of course are films that have themes against violence, or should I say more war. Hacksaw Ridge is one. It's about one person who didn't want to go to war but ended up saving others in the end of it all. Graveyard of Fireflies, Good Morning Vietnam, and All Quiet on the Western Front are all great examples that show the unfiltered brutality of war, and its effects not only on soldiers but civilians as well. That's one of the great powers film has. It doesn't have to be said, it can just show. Say like all the films about black civil rights movement, Selma, Rustin, The Help, they're all able to show us so much about the ideals of America back in the 1950s. Lastly are the films about the cycle of abuse, how hurting people can hurt others as a knock-on effect. Carrie shows how far someone can get pushed till they hit their breaking point. The Breakfast Club, you could argue, shows how people can be so desperate to fit in they hurt others in the aftermath. Perks of Being a Wallflower shows how PTSD can affect people's relationships with each other. They all deal with messages of pain, emotional, physical, and mental, and how it can make you hurt others like how they hurt. And only by recognizing it can you begin to move on from it. Violence in films isn't inherently wrong. Watching 20 guys get shot up isn't entertaining for everyone. Neither is watching a scene with only talking. It all comes down to what you want to say to your audience and how you go on to do that. For one episode, I know this was a lot. I'm aware most people are indifferent to this topic, which is fair when you look at our current world. Anyway, that has been your movie cap on violence in films. Thank you so much for taking time of your day to watch my vid. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!